I knew from a very young age that our family had no money. Getting sick cost money, so I was not even allowed to get sick. When I was 4, I had a high fever. Mom grabbed me and put me in the freezer. When she took me out, my temperature was still 100. I was blinking and looking at her. My face was frozen. My tears had completely frozen. Mom looked at me and said, irritated, "You are just faking it to get out of school. See, you did not die." After that day, I kept any discomfort to myself. I thought Mom was right. I must have been faking it. Otherwise, why did all the aches and pains disappear without medicine or injections? Life went on like that until the school organized a medical checkup in middle school. I ran home with a cancer diagnosis in my hand, excited. "Mom, I have cancer." This time with proof from a doctor. Mom would not think I was lying. "Mom, I am not lying this time." I ran home holding the diagnosis. My emotions were a mix of excitement and anxiety. The doctor said I had 3 months left at most. I did not want to die yet, but I could not help but hope that during those 3 months, Mom and Dad would finally take care of me. Whenever my brother got sick, the whole family would crowd around him. I was not greedy. I would have been content with someone just taking me to the hospital. I pushed open the door and held the white paper up high, afraid they would not see it. "Mom, Dad, I have cancer." The room fell silent for 2 seconds. Then came hurried footsteps, along with Mom's unmistakable lavender perfume. I lowered the paper and opened my arms ready for her hug. Mom snatched the diagnosis from me and tore it to pieces. Before I could process what was happening, a sharp sting spread across my cheek. I did not get her hug. I got her slap. "Your brother is sleeping. You know that. And yet you make up such a ridiculous lie." Dad lowered his newspaper and came over. "Chloe, you are old enough to be reasonable. Everyone knows you are healthy. You have never even had a cold. If you are going to lie, at least make it believable." "What?" I covered my face and pointed to the torn-up diagnosis in the trash. But the doctor said, Mom and Dad had already turned away and were discussing my brother's meal plan. "Felix has lost weight again. That $700 a month meal plan is clearly not nutritious enough." Dad looked worried too. "But the next level up costs $1,500. We really cannot afford it." Mom suddenly turned to me. "The hospital is recruiting volunteers for a new drug trial. They specifically need healthy subjects. They pay $50 to $100 per person." I was going to volunteer myself, but we are both too busy with work. I understood what Mom was implying. Hope flickered in my chest. If they needed to verify the volunteer's health, then Mom and Dad would finally find out I was not lying. Mom let me be the volunteer. Dad immediately chimed in. "You are so considerate of your brother. You know Felix has always been frail. As his older sister, you have to be understanding." Mom let out a cold laugh. "Trying to score points after admitting you lied. Fine, I will give you this chance." She took a round red pill from her pocket and gestured for me to swallow it. "Good thing I work at the hospital. It saves us all that annoying paperwork." I did not take it. I looked closely at the pill. "Mom, do I not need a checkup first?" Mom frowned. "What checkup? You are always thinking about spending money. If you are not healthy, no one is." Dad glanced at my brother. A once sturdy boy. He took the pill from Mom's hand and grabbed the glass of water from the table. Ignoring my resistance, he forced it into my mouth. Why waste words on a child? "Felix just coughed. Go see if he is catching a cold." I choked, unable to speak. Mom dragged me to my room and locked the door. "I have already disinfected your room. Just stay in there. The observation period is 3 days. After that, you will come to the hospital with me. If you behave, I will buy you takeout." My head was throbbing. I wanted to tell Mom I did not feel well, but the words would not come out. I pounded on the door, forcing a weak sound through my gritted teeth. "Mom, Dad, please help me." But then there was a loud bang as someone kicked the door from the other side. Dad had run out of what little patience he had left. "You took all the nutrients from your mother in the womb. That is why your brother's health is so poor now, and you dare to complain. You clearly do not see what you have done wrong." Mom gasped. I thought they had finally found the diagnosis in the trash. "Honey, Felix's temperature is 99.5. A little higher and he will have a fever. Get him to the hospital quick." Dad ignored my muffled cries. Keys jingled from behind the door. I heard the front door slam shut. I touched my face. 2 streams of blood were running from my eyes. "Mom, Dad, it hurts so much." I slowly lost consciousness. The throbbing pain gradually faded. When I woke up, I was floating in the air. I passed through the door with ease. How nice. Mom and Dad finally let me out. I sat properly at the dining table. I would apologize and explain to them later. I did not know how much time had passed before Mom and Dad came in carrying a large cream cake. It smelled so good, I could not help but swallow. Usually, I only got a sliver of cake on my brother's birthday. I did not expect to get a whole cake just for having cancer. Mom looked impatiently towards the door. "Chloe, come out and have some cake. You are lucky your brother did not get sick from the scare you gave him, or you would be in for a real punishment." "Mom, Dad, I am right in front of you. I am sitting right here at the table." I stood up and walked towards them to hug them, but I passed right through them. They kept staring at the bedroom door. After 10 seconds, Mom pounded on the door hard. "Now you are ignoring us. Your brother was in the hospital because of you, and I did not even blame you. How dare you throw a tantrum?" I was confused. I floated back and forth through them, shouting right in their ears, "Mom, Dad, I am here. I am not throwing a tantrum." But no one responded. Dad threw my slice of cake directly into the trash. "This is what happens when you spoil her. We are going to teach her a lesson. 3 days without food will not kill her." I realized what had happened and passed through the bedroom door. A shriveled ashen figure was curled up by the door. The scratch marks from my fingers still marked the wood. How ugly. No wonder Mom and Dad never liked me. I was already dead. I did not know what to feel. I was sad. It did not seem like a deep sadness, just regret that the 3 months of care I had hoped for had not even lasted a day. But it was okay. At least now I could stay by Mom and Dad's side without worrying them. Mom noticed the cake-stained diagnosis paper. She frowned and picked it up with her fingers. "Honey, this diagnosis looks real." Dad glanced at it and scoffed. "Babe, you are a nurse. How can you not tell? AI is so advanced, now it can fake documents to look this authentic. If you do not believe me, I will ask Chloe. He walked to my bedroom door and kicked it a couple of times. You faked this, right? Tell the truth and you will get food tomorrow. I shook my head over and over in the air, fighting the burning in my eyes. Dad, I did not fake it. It is a real diagnosis from the doctor. Only my brother's mocking laughter answered him. See, she is not saying anything. That means she is admitting it. I never thought the little brat would learn to lie so young. If only she were half as well behaved as me. I am not afraid to speak. I cannot. I rushed into the room and hugged my stiff corpse tightly, so cold. Maybe because I had never ignored Mom and Dad before. After checking on my brother for a while, they came back to my door. Chloe, we need to record your physical condition. Now do not you dare play dead with me. I am not playing dead, Mom. I am really dead. Dad took a deep breath. I think you need a beating. I watched him walk towards the cat bed in the hallway, a sense of dread growing in my chest. Dad, no. The tall man grabbed Whiskers from the cat bed I had built for him and brought him to my door. If you do not talk, I will make your cat pay for it. I lunged forward trying to grab my cat. He was the only one in the house who had ever listened to me, but I could not catch him. Dad, I am talking, please, put the cat down. I do not have cancer, I lied. About everything. Mom was getting impatient. She pinched the cat's neck hard. The normally docile cat's fur instantly stood on end. He began to shriek in pain. My mouth fell open. My soul could not shed tears, only tremble. I screamed until I was voiceless. No, but it was already too late. The cat struggled so violently that Dad threw him. He had forgotten that just outside my door was the apartment balcony. My mind went blank. A dull thud, blood splattered everywhere. Mom tried to stop him, but it was too late. Seeing people gathering below, she clicked her tongue. Someone is definitely going to ask how the cat died. We cannot let it ruin our reputation. We will say Chloe accidentally dropped him. Make her come out and apologize. As soon as she finished speaking, Dad snapped out of his panic and grabbed my doorknob. This is all because you insisted on sulking. The cat dying is your own fault. I stared at the cat's body below, too numb to speak, but the sky seemed to take pity on me. The cat's soul floated up beside me. Only then did I avoid collapsing completely. The soft, furry feeling was just the same as when he was alive. I carried him back into the room, and Dad, they were finally going to discover me. What would their reaction be? Dad's phone suddenly rang. A police officer's voice came from the other end. We caught Dylan. Do you want to come to the station to press charges? Hearing that name, my grief was instantly replaced by terror. That man, lurking in the alley asking me for directions, had taken advantage of my distraction to drag me into the alley and grope every part of my body. He had rubbed his disgusting thing back and forth against me. When I got home, I scrubbed my body frantically. After Mom found out, she went straight to the police station that night to file a report. From that day on, she would take me to and from school, but the predator was hard to catch until today. Dad and Mom exchanged a look. Then Dad put on a show of resolution. You know what? That bastard's father came to see me. He said he would give me $200,000 for us to drop the whole thing. Mom glanced towards the locked bedroom door. That would cover Felix's meal plan for the next year. After all, what happened to Chloe cannot be undone. As long as that pervert learns his lesson. And look at Chloe now, with her strange attitude and tantrums, she needs to learn a lesson too. I sat in the back seat with my cat as my parents drove to the police station. The face from my nightmares was sitting there, smug, with his legs crossed. He looked at my parents with contempt. His father was even more dismissive as he shook my dad's outstretched hand. Good man, let us talk in private. I heard Dad accept the $200,000 for his silence with a fawning nod. It sounded like my heart breaking. The pervert swaggered out of the police station. I wanted to pounce on him, eat his flesh, drink his blood, but my parents had already sold me out. I could never get my revenge. On the ride home, Mom and Dad were silent. What were they thinking? Honey, I still think we should not take this money. Dad gripped the steering wheel tighter and tighter, as if afraid he would change his mind. I know you are worried Chloe will be angry. We just will not tell her, right? Chloe has always been so healthy. Felix is sickly. It breaks my heart to see him suffer. Think of this as the last thing Chloe does for her brother. When we get home, we will let her out and take her somewhere fun to relax. She will not have to do that clinical trial either. I sat in the back seat, my heart dead as ash. Dad, do not bother. I am already dead. I cannot go anywhere. Mom's phone rang. It was my teacher calling. Hello. What is it? We have been excusing Chloe's absences these past few days because